Nobody wins when the family feels, but my stash.
I 94, so you know I'm riding hella ball. I sit on the laundry, the way I drop a belly low. I'm the nigga in the D that y'all ain't know about. When Blaze said Brick, I'm the fuck he was talking about.
K B Big Boss Black Roasting. Racks on racks, I'm flossing. Just cop the watch filled with ice. Getting all this cake could change your life. It's for the keys I done flip. The other K is for the beat and the extra clip. I put a 1 on my shifter, now it's extra bricks. I put a 1 on my shifter, now it's extra bricks.
I got Kingpin status.
13. Her body was found weeks later in Detroit. Her murder, though, remains unsolved.
Now the U.S. Attorney's Office is asking a federal court judge to add decades in prison to a drug dealer's sentence because they think he is the killer.
6-year-old daughter at her mother's house before going to pick up food. Surveillance video shows a suspicious silver Durango at the Benihana. Police say Dynasty got into the car and was never seen alive again.
This is a rhetorical question, but bear with me. If it come down to me or you, who you picking, family? So what you think the streets gonna do? Because you play the game, don't mean the game gonna play fair. Because you love the game, don't mean the game gonna love you back. And that's real, because this story is a prime example of that. Now today, we go to Detroit. We shine light on the unfortunate situation of a drug kingpin who lost his life on Mother's Day while incarcerated. But how he lost his life remains a mystery. And it seems it also reminds you of a case that the feds tried to put on him of a missing woman who was found deceased in an abandoned home, which we'll later discuss. But besides all that, from the person who was the leak in this man's story was his own plug, who set him up. And as we mentioned, who said the game gonna love you back, or who said the game gonna play fair? And with knowing this information, it's only a must I bring it to you guys. So before we go over this one, I want you to remember, I don't give you no angle, I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna jump right to it. Today we're going to Detroit, Michigan. We're gonna stop past a neighborhood located on Dexter, home of another local drug kingpin, Brickk, real name Theodore Chandler. This is a guy who, according to the feds, tried to wash his drug money with rapping. A man who decided to call himself after what he alleged sell, Brickk. And to go further than that, this is a man who decided to make a record label called Brickk ENT with 2 Ks. And we got some music videos on YouTube dating back 11, 12, even 15 years ago. Having one track titled Real N, released 10 years ago with 18,000 views and counting. Another track he had was a track called Kingpin, where he made a music video while performing at an all-white party. Check it out.
K B Big Boss Black Roasting. Racks on racks, I'm flossing. Just cop the watch filled with ice. Getting all this cake could change your life. It's for the keys I done flip. The other K is for the beat and the extra clip. I put a 1 on my shifter, now it's extra bricks. I put a 1 on my shifter, now it's extra bricks.
I got Kingpin status. Kingpin status.
To this day, Brickk name hold weight. It seems that he frequently visited a gentleman's club called All Stars that the feds say they used as the office. While still trying to make music, things will come crumbling for Brickk. In 2016 will be the last time Brickk would be a free man after he was indicted for conspiracy to distribute seed. Now, of course, we're going to go over the indictment to see how he got arrested. And as we mentioned, his Colombian plug was how he got arrested, who at least had evidence on him. But I want to go over some quick facts on Brickk. He was a part or associate with Street Lord in Detroit, Michigan. As mentioned, he also made a record label called Brickk ENT. Now, as you can see, Brickk was getting some paper and trying to flunk, but it seems that drew attention to the wrong crowd, once almost being set up by a female, a young woman who worked at a gentleman's club who went missing and body was found weeks later in an abandoned house. Now, in November of 2016, Theodore, aka Brickk, had pled guilty to conspiracy, assuming he would come home soon, a part of his plea. But it seems during that time, the body of a young woman named Dynasty Myles, just 23 years old, was discovered at an abandoned home in Detroit, Michigan. Dynasty was last seen alive from surveillance footage in 2013. It was New Year's. She went to Benihana's to pick up some food in Dearborn, Michigan. Her mother was home watching her 6-year-old daughter. Police say Dynasty got into a suspicious silver Durango and was never seen alive again. A month later, her body was discovered in an abandoned home in Detroit, and police said she'd been shot in the head, and a city worker found her covered in blood. Now during this time, as we mentioned, Brickk is already arrested, assuming he have a release date in the near future. But the feds is trying to put Dynasty Myles' demise on him, but they have no real concrete evidence. But I want you guys to check out a news clip. It was later determined, which is public but wasn't released to the public, that another person was found shot in the head in that abandoned building, but the news didn't mention it. Check it out.
From a Dearborn restaurant on New Year's Day 2013. Her body was found weeks later in Detroit, but her death remains an unsolved mystery. Even though a convicted drug dealer was never charged with her murder, the feds wanted to add decades to his sentence, convinced that he knows the secret behind the mysterious kidnapping.
But did the judge let it happen? Local 4 defender Kevin Dietz has a story.
Theodore Chandler is facing a judge to be sentenced on drug charges. The prosecution wants him to do an extra 20 years behind bars because they think he is a killer. But will the judge allow it? This surveillance video shows Dynasty Myles on the last day she was seen alive. The 23-year-old mother was at Benihana's in Dearborn on New Year's Day. Her mom was watching her daughter. 1 month later, her body would be discovered in this abandoned home in Detroit. She was executed, shot in the head. The city worker who found her said there was blood everywhere.
We sell it by the judge. It's Betty hustling.
This is Theodore Chandler, the founder of Brickk Entertainment. The feds think the musician killed Dynasty Myles after learning she set him up to be robbed. According to court records, the company was a front to promote and sell drugs. The DEA busted Chandler, and he pleaded guilty, thinking he would do a little time in prison and then get out. That's when the U.S. attorney threw him a curveball, saying they wanted Chandler to serve 40 years because they think he killed Dynasty Myles.
It's a chilling effect upon justice anytime a person can be charged, not charged with a defense, never arrested, yet and still go to prison for the rest of his life. That's a chilling effect upon justice and our justice system.
Attorney Alvin Keel told the judge there's no real evidence Chandler killed Dynasty Myles, and he should not go to prison for it. He insisted 6 years max for the drug charges was fair. Legal expert Keith Corbett says a judge has the right to hold it against Chandler if there's enough proof that he is likely the killer.
The government has a preponderance of the evidence suggesting to the judge that he may have been complicit in this particular murder, in which case the judge can factor that into this sentence.
They held a hearing to find out.
Witnesses were produced.
It was a close call, but the judge said there was not enough proof.
They were not even successful in finding that Mr. Chandler would be guilty under the low standard of preponderance of evidence.
Prosecutors now could only ask for sentencing on the drug charge. They said the defense request of 6 years would not do. They still wanted the max, 40 years.
What the government was doing today was basically just a ruse. And in effect, the government, by asking for enhancements on every possible guideline that you can, they were in effect trying to get the same sentence as if they had won the motion and that Mr. Chandler was guilty of the murder.
The judge listened to both sides and agreed with neither, instead pointing out that Theodore Chandler was indeed a dangerous international drug dealer who needed to be sent a message, then sent him away for 20 years.
Now 2 + 2 = 4. You can only assume that Destiny had called the person who tried to set up Brickk to show up, and both of their life had ended. Now before we continue with this video, we do want to say rest in peace to Dynasty Myles, to her, and level condolences to her family. Now as you can see, it was a lot going on, but the judge ended up giving Brickk 20 years in prison. But let's go over the evidence, because safe to say, you'll be surprised to know the person you go to get your narcotics is the person who's gonna set you up. Of course, it's the game. It said that Theodore, aka Brickk, had lived on the 2800 block of Bayberry Road in Farmington Hill, Michigan. Now it seemed the reason Brickk had got caught was because his plug was on surveillance in New Mexico, which made him in surveillance. But it seemed that plug had played some dirty games. Let's check it out. It said that Chandler, aka Brickk, has a history of large-scale drug trafficking. For example, court documents show that Brickk was convicted on federal charges of conspiracy to distribute controlled substance, Mary Jane, and money laundering in the Eastern District of Michigan, and sentenced months to 94 months in term of incarceration. A man they identified as DEA-1 was interviewed in 2012 and identified as Brickk as a large-scale drug trafficker who distribute narcotics throughout the Detroit area. Now, so we clear, DEA-1 is a person who has been working with the DEA or other law enforcement officers from 2010 until present. But if we look at the 35 pages of his evidence, we'll know where his mole at, how he got caught, and how authorities managed to put surveillance on him. And like they say, the first thing they're gonna do is go to social media. Brickk had that because he wanted to be a rapper. According to DEA-1, Brickk has made numerous trips from Detroit, Michigan to Chicago, exporting drugs and drugs proceeds. On September 14, 2012, Theodore Chandler, aka Brickk, and LaShondra Jackson were stopped near Detroit on eastbound 194 and Michigan Avenue, returning from Chicago, Illinois, which was known based on the tracking device on the vehicle that was attached and monitored. During the vehicle stop, Border Patrol Agent K9 Jeremy Keon used trained and certified narcotics detection dog Tigo, who performed and sniffed around in the vehicle. Tigo alerted to the vehicle and during the subsequent search of the van, discovered a purse containing a small amount of Mary Jane and $4,582 in cash. Brickk and Jackson claimed to be coming from Jackson, Michigan, which based on electronic surveillance, agents knew to be false. DEA-2 was interviewed May of 2013 and stated that Brickk is the head of a cocaine and heroin trafficking organization. DEA-2 also stated that Brickk can be seen in pictures on social media, including on Instagram, with narcotics proceeds. Quoting, "I have observed publicly viewable photos posted on Instagram and Facebook that show, among other things, Brickk and other suspected members of DTO, drug trafficking operation, together with large sums of money. They also provided examples, as you guys can see below." DEA-3 had identified Brickk by his Michigan operators or driver's license photograph, and is someone DEA-3 had known for years. DEA-3 has stated that Brickk is a large-scale narcotics trafficker in the metro Detroit area that utilized various homes to store narcotics and narcotics proceeds. Furthermore, DEA-3 informs agents that he previously observed Brickk removing narcotics that had been hidden in the trap, which is a secret compartment commonly used to conceal and transport narcotics and or to proceed from narcotic sales, inside a silver 2008 Jeep with Michigan plates. It was registered to a guy named Floyd Williams that was located on the 1400 block of Evergreen Road in Detroit. Apparently, Floyd Williams was a criminal associate to Chandler's DTO, drug trafficking operation. During the course of the investigation, Detroit DEA had been in touch with the DEA in the country of Colombia. More specifically, Detroit DEA agents learned that Chandler was being intercepted talking to and sending text messages to a target in Colombia, identified as Chikuri, whose phone was being intercepted by authorities in Colombia. Detroit DEA agents have obtained copies of some of those audio recordings and text messages, and on June 18, 2013, agents/officers in Colombia intercepted a call between Brickk and his plug in Colombia. Here is the text messages where Brickk responded, where Brickk sending, "What's up though? Is it done? Huh? Is it done? No, they running around now. Oh, okay. I ain't even talked to them. I came out earlier and gave them the names and the bread. I'm finna get with them now in a minute. I'll call you soon as I get with them," the plug responded. "Alright, man. Brickk responded, It's getting dead, bro. What's up?" The plug responded, listen. We gotta very careful this time, man, because this man, they got a lot of American undercover down here, man. I swear to God, man." Brickk responded, "Sheesh." The plug responded, "A lot." Brickk responded, "They got a lot of American undercovers?" And at that point, he should have knew something was up. The plug responded, Yeah. That's like they say they got a lot of people, right? That's that. They ain't telling nobody. But they also show more messages where Brickk responded to the plug. "Huh? You mean? Where do you think all this money coming from, huh? Huh?" The plug responded, "Huh? You mean? I told you call your people." Brickk responded, "You call your people. I keep sending money and a thing pop off. You ain't professional." The plug responded, "I'm not a mule or a worker, bro. I want you to understand that." Brickk responded, "My girl let them bank grabbing that bread now. You call your people." Fam, the crazy part, Brickk was arrested a month after that. And I'm gonna tell you why. But it seemed either his life was at jeopardy and the feds had intervened, they knew that his plug had cooperated. But here's where things get interesting. It seemed Brickk didn't care after still trying to get a key from his plug. So he tried to set it up to get one, had $39,000, and the feds had showed the jury and the judge the text messages at his trial. But after this drop, Brickk knew them boys was the police. They say on September 27, 2013, Brickk and DEA-5, who was a guy they naming DEA-5, but According to the affidavit, DA5 has been working with the law enforcement officers in Miami, Florida for approximately 2008 to present. DEA5 has acknowledged about Brickk based on telephone conversations that DEA5 had with Brickk, some which have been recorded. DEA5 has or will receive monetary compensation in return for information and assistance provided to law enforcement officers in this investigation. A paid witness. DEA5 has provided credible and reliable information to Miami agents/officers in past investigation and has recorded many, if not all, of the calls made with Brickk. DEA5 does not have a criminal record. For these reasons, they believe DEA5 information is considered reliable. DEA5 has sent a text to Brickk stating, "I have the stuff." Brickk saying, "Okay, I'm gonna make my way." DEA5 saying, "How soon can you be here? Do you have the paper?" Brickk respond, "Yeah, that's not a problem." DEA5, "They told me you would give me 39 for the one, for the H, right?" Brickk responded, "For the H, right?" DEA5, "Yeah." Brickk responded, "The whole one?" DEA5, "Yeah, bro, 1 full." DEA5, "It's Colombian. It's best, bro." Brickk responded, "We don't have to say no more. See us Sunday." DEA5, "I have another one if you want. 48. DEA5, "Let me know." Brickk responds, "Okay, what color?" "No top, please." DEA5 responds, "It's coffee." Brickk saying, "Okay." Now during that time, it seemed that Brickk had confirmed this setup with his plug via phone call, and that was recorded. The plug had said, "I'm down here with man. Okay, look, listen, if you have to do what I told you to do the very first time, we wouldn't have been doing it. Okay, listen, okay. The dude down here, he want the dude here. He say it's 40, but I found no, it's 50. But I found out it's 40 because they told me. I cannot, it's 40. So if you go tell him exactly that it's 40. Brickk saying, "Okay, hold tight. Let me call him. I'm going to tell him exactly. I'm going to tell him you said paying 40. You can tell the other and both of y'all just to make sure it's all right. I just want to make sure it's right. We ain't got to do nothing slick. If we got to give enough and you 5, we'll work all that out later. Just make it happen right. And after that, I'll tell you what I'm going to pay you. If I'm going to be going all the way down there. But I'm here now. Make it happen. Do what you got to do." Same on November 17, 2013, and the following day on the 18th, they discussed the proposed sale. Further, on November 18, 2013, Brickk drove DEA5 to a parking lot to show him the money for the H, which was contained in a silver 2008 Jeep, as we mentioned, with Michigan tag. After that meeting, agents continued surveillance on the Jeep, which was being driven by an associate named Kieta Hooks. Hooks was stopped by HSI and local Miami officers, who was in search of the Jeep. They found and seized the $38,500 in cash, which was for the key of H. After that seizure, a call was intercepted where Brickk had told his plug that his connect in Miami was the police. After that call, Brickk disconnected the use of that phone. Now, Brickk page on Instagram was private, but the person that was working with the plug and the police, his friend, was following him already. So he thought the people who was following him was good money. But that was enough for authorities to look at his page. As mentioned in the affidavit, agents/officers were monitoring the social media and the accounts used by Brickk and the associates of Brickk via an undercover account. In late January 2015, agents observed a number of social media postings by the associates of Brickk depicting with them large sums of money and also travel to Arizona, even leaving a picture of an example below. According to their investigation, they believe they was going to Arizona to pick up and drop off money for the drugs. Being a drug source for the state of Detroit, agents believe that Brickk was sending associates to Arizona to drop off money and or to pick up drugs. Furthermore, based on these social media postings, including a video of a hotel lobby, agents were able to identify the hotel that the associates were staying. Agents went to the hotel and determined that there was only one occupant who was currently staying at from the Detroit area, Southfield, Michigan. They obtained a phone number from the hotel via subpoena and then obtained a search warrant to locate the phone number. Additionally, agents were able to view the hotel video footage of these individuals, showing the make and model and color of their vehicle they were using. DEA agents observed via the phone location that it was heading towards Michigan, gave a general description of the vehicle and whereabouts of the phone to troopers from Michigan State Police. Based on this information, on January 30th, 2015, Michigan State troopers made a traffic stop. Cornelius and Charles, the two individuals depicted in the social media post, were in the 2012 Chevrolet sedan. Troopers eventually searched this vehicle and obtained multiple kilos of cocaine hidden in the compartment. Subsequently, troopers obtained a search warrant for the phones in possession of these individuals. One of these phones showed multiple communication between the phone users, a patent, and a contact he identified as Brickk. Furthermore, In the contact section, they had a photo of Brickk. Text messages between Brickk and this contact showed that Brickk and Patton, in the days leading up to the traffic stop, indicated that Brickk was involved with directing Patton and Brown to pick up drugs. For instance, on January 26, 2015, at 19:26 Eastern Standard Time, there's an ongoing message to Brickk. They even had Brickk on surveillance at his own home on the 2800 block of Bayberry Road in Farmington Hill. And on Friday, August 24, 2014, at around 10 a.m., surveillance was initiated at his home, and agents observed the garage door open on the resident, seeing the 2008 Jeep with the license plate being registered to Floyd Williams on the 1400 block leaving his house. Chandler drove to several locations in the city of Detroit, and then at around 1:36 p.m., the surveillance lead investigators to Hawthorne Suites on the 5000 block of Southfield Fairway in Detroit, Michigan. Upon arrival, agents observed the 2008 Jeep parked unoccupied in the parking lot of the Hawthorne Suite in the area of Building 7. At around 1:43 p.m., agents observed Brickk and a black male wearing a white t-shirt, camouflage color shorts, bright red baseball hat, and shoes, later identified as Christopher Patterson, exit an unknown room on the second floor of the Hawthorne Suite. Agents observed Patterson was carrying what appeared to be a dark colored plastic shopping bag as he and Brickk approached the 2008 Jeep. Now at that point, authorities had labeled the 2008 Jeep as the trapped vehicle. Agents observed Patterson hand the bag to Brickk, who appeared to place the bag under the rear seat before pushing the seat back into his original position. Patterson was observed walking back to the second floor, entering the room. At around 1:45, Patterson then walked around the 2008 Jeep and then entered the driver door of the vehicle. At around 1:46 p.m., agents observed Patterson depart from the area driving the 2008 Jeep, as Brickk was observed walking back upstairs and enter into an unknown room of the Hawthorne Suite. Now I can't lie, I googled that plug and I can't find nothing, but the feds did put his name out there. Now far as Brickk, he lost his life on Mother's Day, with half of his time being done, set to come home soon in the near future, even during an appeal in 2021. Now, the answer is still why, as authorities still has yet to release the true reason on how he lost his life. Is very similar to how the young woman did as well. Now, as we continue this story, we want to say rest in peace to all the victims. This was the story of a Michigan drug pen who lost his life after serving just 10 years of his 20-year bid after being on wire and set up by his own plug. Let me know how you guys feel about this one in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until then, I'll catch you guys on the next one.